So this is not terribly complex. The syntax is very similar to Java. I do have some little tutorials that wouldn't hurt to go through. As you can see, if, right, if else, very similar to Java. And this is a whole if else if statement. So if each decision is separate, meaning you can have yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, then you'd have separate ifs. We did one last week, I think, that had separate ifs. Like was that the leap year one maybe or something? There's something we did, but that's rare to have separate ifs. You do separate ifs if you can have multiple outcomes. If there's only one right answer, you always use if, elif, 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 when there's only one right answer. But I can't remember what we're doing, but we had one where you had to do separate ifs in order to get the right answer. We were
They
adding
did
something.
that, they did that on one of these ones.
Yeah.
I think it was the second one. It was the eighth one.
Yeah, this one, you have either the room is so big or it's not.
Oh, it's in there.
Yeah.
No, let's take it.
No, this
It's
is
the one just after.
5, 10, 50, right?
Cause then that, it says if you're young or if you're old, yeah, conditional time.
Okay, so as much as possible, conditional compound Boolean expressions are fine. Stay away from as much as you can. Figure out a different way to do it. Because if I say a whole bunch of conditional expressions, you know how hard it is for me to evaluate if it's right or not? And will it run any faster or slower either way? No difference. So it's easier to understand this than it is to like go through multiple conditions, compound conditions. Just saying, that's a preference of mine. Stay away from them if you can. Yeah. Is there a better way to do this? Oh, yeah.
If
There's
you
a better
start-
way to do that. How would you do this in a better way?
If you start from the older side.
That's a better way to do it. I did it this way just to show that you can, but is it the most Pythonic, not Pythonic, but is it the most easy to understand way? Is it the most elegant solution? No, it's just demonstrating that you can. So this is encompassing things when it's better to slice things out. But that's a good example of that because you will need it at some point. Input validation is defensive programming. Where do all the vulnerabilities come from? Programming, and not necessarily bad programming. It could be excellent programming, but there's something that wasn't anticipated. That there's a gap. You know, there's updates all the time. You know, there's just something somebody didn't anticipate. And sometimes it is just somebody doesn't know what they're doing. You didn't validate the input. Like if you don't validate your input with SQL, you get SQL injection, then they can do whatever they want with it. Which basically means at an input prompt, like we'll just use ChatGPT as an example. If I can get past this input prompt and inject SQL in here, I can pull everything out of the database. But this is all cleaned and filtered, and it doesn't actually ever communicate directly with the database. When we do our SQLite database, we will do it in the right way so that it can't be injected. Because if you can inject SQL, get to the database on the back end, you can pull anything out you want.
And that's not good if you have a bunch of customer information.
It's not good at all, yeah. So how we'll program it is we'll do a tiny bit where you can inject things, but then we'll do it the right way, where you can't inject things. All right, so what is this one? Oh, input validation. So that's one of the ways that we want to have clean data. If you allow people to put in the wrong type of data, that gives you a chance to create an exception in the program, and then you can corrupt memory and do all kinds of things. At the very least, you crash the program, which is not good. Oh, yeah, this is a fun one. I get some really interesting things on this one, the spaceship fuel level. You're traveling across the galactic void. You're ready for your last jump. You know, this is actually one I made up. It's not a ChatGPT. So, yep, you have to decide what you're going to do. And some people just go crazy on this one. So it's pretty fun. Haven't had anybody do graphics yet, I don't think, but why not?
What's the general C++?